That was a pretty damn solid direct. Okay, so I was originally planning on posting some live reaction stuff, and then for technical difficulty reasons, I lost that, so here I am talking to you guys right now with some immediate thoughts about today's Nintendo Direct, which overall, I really enjoyed. There were a couple little pacing issues here and there, but overall, I think this was a really strong one. I've seen a few people complain a little bit, mostly angry at the lack of new stuff. There's a heavy emphasis on remasters. We got a couple newer games announced, but they were smaller projects, as well as updates on a number of games we already know about, and some service updates for Nintendo as well. And the first one I really want to talk about is Game Boy games. Game Boy and Game Boy Advance has finally made its way to Nintendo Switch Online. It is actually being made available today. We are getting both original Game Boy as part of the regular Nintendo Switch Online service, while Game Boy Advance is going to be relegated to the expansion pass. So you do have to be paying for that add-on, which also adds N64 games, as well as a variety of different DLCs as long as you're a member. The list of games they showed so far for it are pretty solid. There's a couple that I'm really excited to replay, some stuff that I played growing up that I just don't have my copies of anymore, some of which are pretty expensive to try and grab now. Honestly though, I will say overall, I'm a lot more excited for the list of upcoming games, with Game Boy and Game Boy Color showing that we will be getting Zelda Oracle of Ages and Oracle Seasons, some of my favorite Zelda games there are, and Game Boy Advance getting Fire Emblem and Golden Sun. This has been something that's been rumored for a really long time with Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, back when N64 was announced, a lot of people thought that was going to be the reveal of Game Boy, and it didn't happen. Really cool to finally see it happen now. As always, I think one of the things I do want to mention real quick is just the fact that I'm happy they're here. I hope at some point Nintendo gives us a way of also just buying and having these games individually, because I don't love things being completely trapped on Nintendo Switch Online, but I am glad that a lot of these games at least have some method of being playable right now on the Switch platform. Now, two things that came up a lot today, remasters and demos. On the remaster side of things, three things in particular really stood out to me and are things that I'm very excited for. Ghost Trick is getting remastered for the Nintendo Switch. If you have not heard of this, it is a puzzle game, more or less, that was released on the original DS. It is an incredibly good game, awesome story, great writing, great puzzles, and it is no longer trapped on the system. It did have like a mobile phone port that was around, and that's fine. I'm really glad that we're now getting it on a more traditional system, especially because physical copies of the DS version aren't that cheap anymore. Which, speaking of games that aren't that cheap anymore, Baten Kaitos. This was a JRPG with card elements that was released on the GameCube. There were two of them. I have the first one, love it. Did not actually ever get around to picking up the second one. Both of them are getting remastered and released together as a collection for Nintendo Switch, which looks fantastic. And I think one that's a little bit of a mixed feeling, Metroid Prime. Mixed in the sense that positive. Metroid Prime Remastered is a thing on the Switch, and that is incredible. It's been a while though to where I know people have been kind of really waiting on news for this, and we've been wanting to see the trilogy make its way over. And so having just the first one alone announced without any kind of nod towards 2 or 3, it's a little awkward. I'm happy we have Prime Remastered. It looks wonderful. I'm definitely planning on playing it. It's actually available today with a physical copy coming out later this month. I hope this means that we're going to get information on 2 and 3 eventually, but there's definitely that part of me that wishes that we just got a trilogy collection all at the same time, even if it wasn't as thorough of a remaster process on each game. After all, having all of them out and available on the Switch before Prime 4 eventually launches, whenever that is, would be pretty cool. Now, as far as demos go, we actually have at least 3 going up today. Honestly, I kind of lost track a little bit. I think there might have been a couple other ones announced, but the ones that really stood out to me, Octopath Traveler 2 is getting a demo today, Kirby's Return to Dreamland getting a demo today, and then by far the biggest one for me, Sea of Stars. I have been so extremely excited for this game. If you guys haven't seen it before, I actually kickstarted this one. It is from the same guys that made The Messenger, which was a wonderful homage to old school 2D platforming ninja games. Sea of Stars is their attempt at doing something that is very SNES era JRPG inspired. Chrono Trigger definitely looking like one of the main influences. I've been extremely excited for this game, so much so that with this demo coming out today, I think I'm actually going to do an impressions video on it. Not here on the new channel. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, quick little self-plug. I did make a new channel called Next Side Quest. I'm going to be doing a lot more dedicated games coverage over there. I've got my first video up already, which is actually doing a lot better than I expected it would for a brand new channel. Go check that out if you haven't yet, and hopefully very early tomorrow I will have some impressions up on the Sea of Stars demo, because I've been so excited for this game. I cannot wait to talk more about it. Aside from that, we got updates for multiple titles, some that are already released and have DLC on the way, and others that are being released shortly. We got another look at Pikmin 4, which honestly just not a series I'm super close to, so I don't have a lot of thoughts on what was shown for that. Same applies for Splatoon 3, where they revealed more DLC coming out for that one. The ones that I can talk about though, Fire Emblem Engage, we got reveals for more DLC on those ones, adding a bunch of other characters from past games. I love some of the older ones that are being added, like Hector and Soren. Some of the more recent ones too, like Camilla and Robin and Chrom. Awesome. I just love the older school rep that's kind of seeping a little more into the game. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3 not only revealed the current next addition to the DLC pass, which is a new character, but the fourth DLC entry was also revealed with showing quick little clips of returning characters of past games. I cannot believe that actually happened and they showed it. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is one of my favorite games that I played last year, but I actually haven't finished it yet because it got derailed thanks to when I got really sick. I need to go back and finish it, so I'm ready for this DLC because it looks fantastic. There was honestly a whole lot of other games they showed off. This one had a very quick pace with multiple games back to back. Some of them were definitely more smaller niche titles. I was really interested in the new level 5 game that was revealed that looks to be sort of a RPG detective story mix. They also revealed a brand new Professor Layton, which is fantastic. Absolutely loved those games on DS, so I'm glad we're getting a proper new entry. We also finally saw Advance Wars Reboot Camp again after it was pulled for, understandable reasons at the time. It is not out just yet, but we have gotten a new updated release date for it coming out on April 21st of this year, which is great to hear. And of course, the big closing moment for the Direct was a new trailer for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, they did not address the price increase thing that we found out about last night. The game is going to be $70. That has been confirmed, not at the Direct itself, but it was confirmed on the internet afterwards, which that's a whole potential mixed bag of feelings. I'm very curious if that's going to be a new trend across a lot of their titles, or if that's specifically Zelda because of the scale of the project. They did also reveal a collector's edition for the game that I believe is listed at $130. That includes some additional goodies as well. The new trailer didn't really have any major focus. It's not really one of those ones where we saw, extended gameplay with some coverage of what's happening in it, but it did give us a lot more snippets of the story, as well as just more looks at the game's world, which, look, it's a new Zelda. I loved Breath of the Wild. I'm excited for Tears of the Kingdom. I honestly don't think the game really needs that much more coverage from Nintendo. I'm fine with just a quick little check-in trailer. It is absolutely something I'm going to be playing and checking out when it launches on May 12th. Overall, I think this was a really solid Direct. There was something for everyone. There was a variety of games covered. Yes, we didn't necessarily have any massive surprises, as in some kind of entirely brand new IP or another new entry in something that's already established, but as far as the updates go on games we already knew about, a lot of the remasters that were announced, new smaller titles, Game Boy games coming to Nintendo Switch Online, I think this was a solid Direct. Let me know what you guys think though, down below in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit thumbs up to let me know, subscribe if you haven't yet. Also, check out the new channel if you haven't yet. It is Next Side Quest. I would really appreciate you guys also subscribing there if you want to see more of my thoughts on actual dedicated games coverage, not just the kind of hardware and news side of things. And I'll see you guys later.